What's up, Do Life in a Body You Love chicks? I want to chat with you guys about one of the biggest things I see women doing to sabotage their goals. And it doesn't matter if it's a health goal, financial goal, relationship goal, like whatever the thing is, almost everybody does this. And it's exactly why we stay stuck. Okay. And so think about the thing that you want. What is the main thing that you're trying to change in your life right now? Now, what seems to be standing in your way of you having that thing? Is it that you don't have enough time? Is it that you're not sure what you're doing? Are you overwhelmed? Like what is the reason that you're not accomplishing it? Now, do you find yourself using a phrase to explain that on a regular basis? If so, it's going to be impossible for you to reach your goal. Here's why. The things that we say over and over, the things that we believe to be true, our mind is always looking for evidence to support what we already believe. So if let's say that you're trying to lose weight, but you have like a really busy schedule. Sorry for the cough, you guys, I'm all congested today. But you have a really busy schedule. And so you're constantly like trying to lose weight, sort of, but then you get busy. And so but you're constantly saying, well, I want to lose weight. I just don't have any time. Or I do good for a couple of days and then I don't have time. Things keep getting in my way. People keep needing me to do these other things. And if you keep saying that over and over, your mind is always going to look for the evidence that what you believe is true. And then you're never going to behave in a way that's incongruent with that thought. So if you're trying to lose weight and you say things like, well, I just have too much of a sweet tooth. Okay, then your brain is going to look for evidence to support that. You're going to actually see sweets everywhere. Every time you do eat a sweet, you're going to use that as justification that you're correct, instead of being like, oh, okay, well, I haven't actually had a cookie in 2 weeks. And I just had a cookie and that's way better than what I would normally do. That's not how your brain is going to interpret the fact that you ate a cookie. What your brain is going to do is see, I knew it. I have too big of a sweet tooth to accomplish this, because your mind always wants to prove itself right. And just because you think something doesn't actually mean that it's true. Most of the thoughts that we think are not actually true. So it's imperative that if we want to make any change, we have to change the way that we're speaking about said goal. If you want to lose weight, you got to change what you're saying to yourself about your ability, your time, like whatever the thing is. If you want to make more money, you need to stop saying things like, well, I don't have time to go make more money, or money doesn't grow on trees, or whatever these silly things are that we say. The things that you say matter, because that is exactly the reality that you're creating through saying those things, not because of some magic woo-woo hippie, The Secret manifest type of trash thinking. Like that, it's not magical thinking. What it is your reticular activating system in your brain is pointing out things to support your current beliefs. And you're like not going to be able to act in a way that is different. So you need to start saying something different. You have to change what you're saying and what you're believing about this situation. So just saying random things doesn't actually work. Like people picking a mantra that they think is outlandish, it doesn't actually help. But if you start saying something that you can actually believe, it really, really does. And so sometimes you have to start small. If you want to lose 100 pounds, maybe you don't actually believe that you can, but you do believe that you could probably lose like 5. Maybe you don't even think that you can lose 5, but you do believe that you could take some of the actions that healthy people take. And so this is like a path that I'll take some of my clients on sometimes to build their belief, because you always need to be building your belief in your ability, or else you're never going to get the job done. So we start small. Like, do you actually believe that you can lose 5 pounds? And if they do, and they're like, yes, I've done it before, that's really not a big deal. Okay, cool. Let's start there. But if they're like, no, I'm not even really sure that would work, then it's like, okay, well, let's look at your blueprint, and maybe their thing is like, we're going to eat like more protein. Let's use that as an example. We're going to eat more protein. Do you think that you could get more protein if we come up with some easy, simple recipes for like breakfast, lunch, dinner? Would you be able to stick with that for 1 week? Yeah, that's not hard. It's pretty much how I already eat, but I'll just add more meat, or I'm adding in another meal, or, whatever. I like the things that you're suggesting. Yes, I could eat that. Okay, great. You don't need to believe yet that it's going to cause weight loss, because everything you've been told is that you need to eat less food. So that's fine. We're not going to worry about that right now. But even if it doesn't cause weight loss, you know that by eating the meat and the vegetables and the plant matter that we just discussed, that's healthy, right? Yes. Is it healthier than how you go to McDonald's every morning for breakfast? Yes, absolutely. So you see that there would be benefit to eating this way, whether it causes weight loss or not. Yes. And you agree that this is a possible thing for you to execute. Yes. Great. Then we go do it. Here's what happens. Now, because we baby stepped things and we took an action that this person believed that they could carry out, they do carry it out, and they start to see results. And so then what happens? Their belief is a little bit higher. So we can start to change the narrative from it's impossible for me to lose weight. Instead, we can shift and focus on health, because it's non-debatable. If you eat healthier food, you're going to be healthier, right? So if you don't think weight loss is possible, let's shift the focus onto actions that will promote health, which I know is going to promote healthy weight loss. And now we're building the library of evidence. Now we can start adding in something new that we say, like, oh, I can totally lose 5 pounds. How do they know? Because they just did it and it wasn't hard. And they're like, oh, I could lose another 5. Okay, I can do this. This isn't that hard. So now we can come up with some mantras that actually work, or some sayings, or some visualization sentences, whatever you want to call these things, but it's reframing how you speak to yourself. You can call it whatever you want. I don't care what you want to call it. It's reframing how you speak to yourself. So now it's like, oh, eating healthy isn't hard. I like healthy food. Huh. Okay, cool. And now this person can keep saying, I like healthy food, instead of saying weight loss isn't possible for me. I like junk food too much. I like sweets too much. I like fast food too much. Whatever the thing is, now we're shifting what the belief is and what the phrase is that this person keeps repeating to themselves over and over. And you've got to do this. So time is a big one. Everybody's busy. It's completely possible to hit whatever your goals are, no matter how busy you are. I don't care. I don't care what your schedule looks like. This is going to sound very, very harsh. I don't care what your schedule looks like. You can lose weight. How do I know? Because I work with some of the women who have the busiest schedules I've literally ever seen in my life. And they lose weight just as easy, if not easier, than some of my women that I work with who are retired or have more time. It's learning how to manage your time, and it's changing what you're saying to yourself. If you keep saying, but I just don't have enough time to cook myself healthy food, you will never find the time. You will never find the time. Your brain is going to stay overwhelmed with your schedule. You're going to continue to mismanage your calendar. You're going to continue to feel overwhelmed. You're going to continue to attempt to multitask, which is not the way to be productive. That's a whole different podcast episode. In fact, I won't do a podcast episode on it. There are plenty of productivity experts out there who do tons of, or put out tons of information about how you shouldn't try to multitask. But nonetheless, if instead you say, oh, well, I might not have time to go to the gym for an hour, but I for sure have time to cook myself one healthy meal every day. If you say that you have time for it, you will find the time. If you say that you do not have time for it, you will not find the time. You won't, because you don't believe it's possible and your brain is trying to prove itself right. We love to be right. I love to be right. You guys know me. I'm a little sassy. I'm a little bit of a know-it-all, and I love to be right. But even for those of you who are not that way, your brain still likes to prove you right. So what is the story that you've been saying? What is the phrase that you've been saying that's holding you back? Do you want that to be true? If you want that to be your reality, keep saying it, girlfriend, because that's how you guarantee you don't get a result. You keep telling yourself that you don't have enough discipline. You keep telling yourself that you don't have enough time. You keep telling yourself that you can't do it because there's too many picky eaters in the house. You keep telling yourself that you can't get out of debt because you and your husband don't agree on a budget. Like whatever the thing is, you keep telling yourself that thing that you've been telling yourself, and you'll keep having the same results that you've been having. But if you want to change it, you have to change what you're saying to yourself. It starts with that. Is like literally the only way to make any change. You got to reframe these stories that are in your brain, and you have to watch the things that come out of your mouth. Everything that you say about yourself comes true. So what do you want to say about yourself? You start changing what you're saying about yourself, those things about you will change. What do you want to change? Do you want to be more disciplined? Decide you're going to be more disciplined and keep telling yourself that you are. Do you want to become better at managing your time? Then tell yourself that you are. Not, oh, I'm going to try. I'm going to try is maybe one of my least favorite sayings on the planet. When people are like, okay, fine, I'll try. I'm like, all right, well, that's not going to happen. No, I'm going to try. It's just, this is my new reality. I have plenty of time to cook a healthy meal for myself. I am perfectly capable of eating 3 healthy meals a day. I am going for a walk every day because I like getting outside and moving my body instead of saying, I can't lose weight because I hate going to the gym. Okay, don't go to the gym. Start with walking if you're sedentary and change the sentence that you're saying about it. I'm doing it because I like it. I get to go for a walk every day. Not, I'm going to try to make myself go on a walk every day. Like, you got to change the way you're looking at things and speaking. So I'm going to challenge you guys to catch yourself. If you hear yourself this week saying things about yourself or your situation or your circumstances or whatever, and when you say it, you're like, oh, I don't actually want that to be true. Okay, then let's make it not be true. Let's reframe it. Let's start saying something else and choosing the things that we say very, very cautiously. Don't say negative things about yourself. You are not allowed to talk bad about yourself. Don't say that you aren't capable of doing something. Now, this doesn't mean that everything you want to accomplish in life needs to all of a sudden become a priority. That's not what I'm saying. That's not realistic. But the things that are important to you, change the way that you're looking at them, change the way that you're talking about them, and always be only saying positive things about yourself. Now, maybe it's true that you want to have a really nice yard and it's not at the top of the to-do list and you don't have time for that right now. Okay, fine. But if something is important to you, if it is something that you do want to change, you got to find a way to speak about it differently and then start on purpose looking for evidence to support what is actually true. Now, if you like in the beginning of this, when you don't like fully 100% believe it, you're going to have to like on purpose look for evidence to support your new belief and this new thing that you're saying. Your brain is still going to want to like default to looking for evidence to the contrary, to the old way of thinking. Eventually, your brain will start automatically looking for these things, but it won't at first. So you're going to have to be strategically looking for evidence. I'll walk you through an example from a client that I was on the phone with this morning while we were coaching. She is extremely ambitious. She's extremely intelligent, has a demanding job and a family. Anybody relate? She's like doing like many, many, many things, right? And she tends to tolerate stress very, very well until she doesn't. Okay. And then it's like off the rails and the comfort is food. Can anybody relate? Hello. I think all of us can, right? She doesn't love to ask for help. She does not love delegating things. That's something that we're actually working on and she's getting better at it. But she had a week where wheels were falling off all over the place, things outside of her control. And normally this would put her off for like a month from eating healthy because like one day off just turns into like a whole month. Can anybody relate to that? Either you get stressed out and so you're off the rails for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or you go on vacation and then you're off the rails for 5 months. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is how it normally goes. So she had a couple of bad days and she got right back to it, got right back on the horse. She like had gained a couple of pounds because she kind of like had a couple days of binging, and then that came right back down. So there was literally like no harm done. But at first, what her brain was doing was telling her like, man, why do I keep failing at this? When I get stressed, I keep eating. And it was like, okay, but let's look at what's really going on here. Normally, you would fall apart for 3 or 4 weeks. So we're talking about 21 to 28 days. And instead, it was 2 days. You recognized it immediately, got right back on and started doing what you're doing. If we think long-term about your plan for like over the course of a year, if every time that this stressor happens and it's 2 days instead of 21 to 28 days, how much further ahead are you after a year's time than your old way of operating? And when you look at it like that, it's very clear that she's made tremendous amounts of progress. But her brain is not by default looking for that evidence. So that's why it's nice to have people around you who can be objective for you, because you can't, because you're in it and you're feeling things and you're currently reframing your own thoughts. But we need to be looking for evidence to support our new thing that we're believing about ourselves, instead of believing, hey, I'm somebody who just binges and stress eats every time that I feel overwhelmed or every time that I get busy or blah, blah, blah. Instead, it's like, no, actually, I did great. I did 21 days better than what I would normally do. That's like, I'm not good at math, but a really big improvement, right? So look for evidence to support the new belief that you want to hold for yourself. Changing the way that you're thinking about things and the way that you view yourself is not easy. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's the hard work of change in any arena. It's what you have to do. If we're talking weight loss, you can go ahead and follow whatever diet you want. You can have people give you all the prepackaged food in the world or all the diet pills in the world, whatever. It doesn't matter what the thing is. If you haven't changed your beliefs about your ability to care for yourself or to have time to cook or to enjoy working out or whatever the thing is that needs to change, if you don't work on those thoughts, you're never going to keep the weight off. You won't. You will default back to your old behavior every single time. You'll be yo-yo dieting every single time. If it's finances, you will finally pay down the credit card debt only to acquire more. Like it doesn't, you're going to revert back. Always. You cannot break out of whatever cycle you're stuck in to create change that lasts without changing the beliefs that you hold about yourself and the way that you speak about yourself. So I'm going to encourage you to tune into that this week. What things do you need to stop saying? What reframes need to happen? And of course, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. If this is something that you've already been working on, I would love to hear how it's going. If you think about this and some different things come to light for you this week, I'd love to hear about it. Shoot me a message on Facebook. Let me know. And I will catch you chicks next week.